Local citizens made the alert that the whale was in trouble. Amongst others, our local Yachats resident Tracy Cruz, a marine biologist and associate director of education with OSU Sea Grant program, contacted the necessary experts. Marine Mammal Stranding Network and the researchers from OSU's Marine Mammal Institute were the local experts on site. They had additional support from the Cascadia research team from Washington State. Oregon State Park Rangers and Oregon State Police were also at the scene to assist. Thank you to all who helped. Thank you to all who care.
All right, thank you. Okay, any other announcements or proclamations? If none, we'll open up for public comment. As usual, public comment is limited to 5 minutes. We ask that you address the chair, that you avoid personal attacks and focus on issues during your public comments. We ask that you also state the city that you reside in. Did I say the state? City. I said state, I meant city. All right, any public comment?
Nothing online?
We have someone in the audience?
Robert Barrett. I'm pastor at Yachats Community Presbyterian Church. I didn't ask to be placed on the agenda, and I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I did want to give an update on two things, on the pantry and on our shelter at Don's Place. I'll start with Don's Place. We have opened for the season on November 1st. As we did last year, we went through an interview process. We had 15 applicants. Out of the 15 after interviews, we settled on 5. As we said last year, we just realized that long-term shelter in such a small unit, there's just too many personality clashes and conflicts to manage that well. And so we've got 5 individuals. It looks like a really good mix. There was a whole criteria of things that we looked at, different criteria. One was the need, the impact, whether there were health problems, age, are you local residents of Yachats or South Wilton County? I think we've got a good mix. They're already bonding really well, forming a nice tight community. The difference between last year and this year, last year we had overnight staffing. We were able to find funding for that. Funding is drying up, and we had 0 incidents last year on property with the shelter residents. And so thought that it was not a good use of our money. Hopefully with the interview and with the folks that we've selected, they all now have cell phones. We've got an on-call manager at night that they can contact. We've put in new cameras. So we think that can be managed. If there are problems, we'll have to look at that and reassess and figure out some other solutions. But right now, things have been going really well. So there is that. So thank you again for your continued support. Pantry is also going well. We are open 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Wednesday, we're open in the morning and in the evening. And we are seeing record numbers at the pantry, and that's been going on for weeks. But last Wednesday, I think, was a record day, and it was shortly after, the first of the month, the SNAP stuff, all of the confusion around that. But in one day, last Wednesday, we served 77 individuals and food for, each person takes food for 3 days. So whatever that works out to, 77 times 3. So we are serving a lot of people for this small community. The need is great. We're seeing an increasing, it's not the perception, I think sometimes is that it's just from our transient population, but we are seeing families, young families, elderly folks, people that are working and just not able to make ends meet. So the assistance that we receive here, and despite the increased demand, and our budget for that is kind of starting to suffer. We're spending $1,000 to $1,500 a week on food, and that's in addition to the food that's donated, to the generous donations from grocery outlet down in Newport, up in Newport.
but we're back in session. We're taking questions regarding the city staff manager and staff report. I did have a question regarding, and Rick is here, regarding our wastewater, our water accounted for. We're normally just like knock it out right out of the park with a 90+% efficiency, but this month we dropped down to 80%. There's some extraordinary circumstance, and
Dave wanted to talk about this, if you listen to it.
Yes, he's online.
could you give us an update on what happened with our water, the water loss this month?
Yes, well, that was impeccable. Somehow I got booted off and came on right when you said that. Great. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, yeah, I'm not sure what the problem was with this. We did the numbers right. Everything went right. We did do a bunch of flushing on the new water line. I kind of have that accounted for, but there's a lot of different facets that could be involved. But right now we're reading meters today and tomorrow, and we'll get a new number shortly. And then, this could just be kind of a anomaly. But keeping in mind, it was kind of an anomaly when we hit the 91s 2 months in a row. We had 81% 3 months ago, and then to this month or the last reading, we got 81 again. So I'd like to be able to give you a better answer when these numbers come in. And if it's in the 80s, then we probably got a leak, and then we'll address it with leak detecting service or something like that.
Okay. All right, so if any citizen sees water pouring out of the ground, let us know and we can see if there's a leak underground.
Oh, yes, and if I may respond a little to that, of course, if anyone sees water, the majority of what we do get the reports on, it's generally groundwater, but it's the one that turns, when we sample it and it turns pink, that's where we're going to hit gold by stopping a leak and so on. People will see around town right now, there's quite a few places that's got water on asphalt, but that's generally just, we've already tested it multiple times and it's just groundwater coming up. This time of year, we'll see that and so on. It's summertime is when we really find the serious leaks and so on. So yeah, I really do think though that this is just something that we're speeding up. The guys are doing a wonderful job on speeding up their meter reading time. So yeah, it's really kind of working out, and we'll see in the next numbers.
Okay. And in terms of wastewater treated, I know that it's this time of year we start to see infiltration into the sewer lines. I think you had a goal to work on some of that. How are we doing on that?
Yeah, it's working good. We've got several places identified already, but we're going to really know when the steady rains come. This business of 4 inches of rain or so on a weekend, and then we have a week of dry weather, that doesn't help a whole lot. I go out generally about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I start pulling manholes and checking things. And the water table just hasn't come up enough to prove what's going on. But we'll see that later in December and January and so on. But the numbers that you see on the sheet in the Public Works report there, right now we're having some issues with our flow meters inside the plant and so on. So it's running a little bit heavy, but it's doing good.
Okay, great. Really appreciate all the hard work that you and the rest of the crew do to keep on top of these things.
Dave shared an interesting fact with me when we were talking about this today, just on the amount of time that it takes the staff to read the meters, how that can affect the rate and efficiency loss. If it's a 3-day read or if it's a 1.5-day read, how that can even change it. So there's a lot of moving parts in that number that we get every month.
Okay, good to know. Yes. Question from the audience?
Well, Dave is still online, and I don't know if this is anything, but I noticed recently at the northwest corner of 10th and Hanley, water welling up out of the ground. Now, I've always seen it welling up out of the ground on the south corner, but not the north corner. That's something new. I just saw it, I think yesterday, And I thought that was a little odd since it hadn't rained hard recently, real recently, so.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
All
We'll
right,
take a look.
we'll take a look, yep. Okay, I did have another question on the staff report. And I think I had raised this earlier, that was with, in the planning report regarding, the wetlands assessment. It was one of our goals for the year. We're kind of getting the same status in November that we got in January. And I'm curious what we can do to finalize that, where we're at, and can we get, as manager, what I would typically suggest in this case would be, we need to be much more explicit around what is it that's outstanding and what are we doing to resolve it, because
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
So we have our goals discussion later on in the meeting, and we have our city planner coming in to talk about that a little bit too.
Okay. I think it would be helpful in the reports to
Mhm.
start track. Normally, we don't need that level of detail, but when it's one of our goals and it's been going on for 3 years, I think we need to start looking at it more closely. Okay, in terms of some of the projects, we're done with East Second Street. Very big and expensive project. That was great. The library, I saw that they poured the asphalt for the parking lot and striped it. That looks really good. The project is exciting. We're moving along. Same thing with the Little Log Church Museum. It's great. Any other observations that people had from the report?
I'm not sure if it's all old news or some of it seems to be, but community spaces coordinator from Rosa. My understanding that the sound system has been
Mhm.
installed
Mhm.
and it was installed in time for the last festival,
Mhm.
correct?
It was.
Okay. Yeah, because I was talking about, when the oil heater was gonna be removed and so forth,
Mhm.
which was back in October. Okay.
Yeah, and the public Parks and Commons raised that issue, similar issue. I talked to the city manager about it too, letting items that have been accomplished roll off on the report. So
Oh, okay, okay.
There's another,
it's being addressed. So
Mhm.
thank you for raising that.
read that the basketball hoops are up and running now.
Yes.
And I think we need to let people know it's winter.
Mhm.
And, I just think I think it'd be fun to have teams, like a women's team.
Mhm.
I'd be the nothing.
You could be
But-
center.
Center, is that what I would be? Anyway, I think I really, really am excited we're doing things for inside recreational activities for people in the
Because the
community.
times were already set up, right? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I read them, yeah.
Tuesday through Friday,
Yeah.
Tuesday and Friday.
That could be a lot of fun for people.
Yeah, we've done a couple articles on that for the newsletter, but we'll do another one now that it's hitting that winter season and people might be looking for some additional inside things. Yeah. Yeah. The mayor wants to do a free throw contest,
Yeah.
so we can work that in there.
Anyway.
Kids versus the.
So, in this report, we also got some information about West Tech, in terms of the new treatment plant, water storage plant. I don't know that there's much to say about it, but just in case people want to know, it's in our report. There's links to it. Similarly, West Third Street, which appears to be a major project that that we're hoping to take on. I did have a question about West Third Street. I just want to raise it. I'm not saying to stop moving forward because it's been a long time and it's been planned. But we're also doing we're applying for the transportation study. Are we getting ahead of ourselves too much by repairing and recovering West Third Street if something in the transportation study were to suggest, a dedicated bike lane or something like that? I don't know what it might be. But I just want to raise that as a question.
So
Yeah.
Well, we could always do the engineering, for the infrastructure. The main reason to do that street is the water line. But can't remember if there's any more easement left on that street. Pretty wide. But, you know, we could always talk that over.
Okay, just, I think it's just something to keep in mind as we're moving forward with that project.
Issues that we didn't have in our CIP 5-year plan is, we gotta start putting in fire hydrants down
Yes.
for the house.
Are there, I'm trying to look, was there fire hydrants in this, West Third Street engineering?
Once that, we got work there.
Okay, but in other parts of the city?
So, give us more land to build
Yeah, it makes a dramatic difference to your health insurance if you have a fire hydrant near it.
on.
Over 1,000 feet, it's very expensive.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact rules, but I heard it's gotta be within 500 feet now.
There was,
Can't build.
Mhm. We actually have a meeting next week to discuss the fire hydrant plan within we have an allocated $30,000 a year towards
Mhm.
putting hydrants in. So we're really evaluating the places that those need to go from highest need down to lowest need.
appreciate that. And fire hydrants have almost doubled in price in
Mhm.
the last 4 years or something.
The good news is our crew can put them in now.
Yes,
We do not have to hire a contractor.
it's great. Okay, let's move on to the finance portion of the agenda of the, I'm sorry, the consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, we skipped county sheriff. Anything to say or any questions regarding the sheriff's report? It's very thorough, very clear,
A lot of activity.
a lot of activity.
Mhm. Yes, and thank you for your responsiveness. Appreciate it.
I'm sure, but I did have a question. Does every time it shows a traffic stop, is there a ticket or is that just a stop?
That's just a stop. I tend to give quite a few warnings.
Okay, I was just curious. Yeah. All right, any comments on commission and committee reports? City council meeting summary? I really like them. They're becoming getting really good information. Okay, financial reports. Everything looked fine to me. I did have asked the city manager about I think my favorite report, let me back up, excuse me. My favorite report are the graphs showing transient rental year to date compared to previous years and then food and beverage. And the transient rentals surprisingly is actually above last year, very close to what we were 2 years ago, which is a great year. So people are still coming and they're still staying in facilities or hotels and short-term rentals. It's surprising, delightful. But food and beverage was low. And I asked, is there something going on? Is it,
We actually circled that.
Okay. Yeah, is it fewer restaurants? Is it smaller tabs? What's going on?
So we did, when this report was created, we did have one of our establishments that had not reported their tax yet at the time of creation. So they have since reported their tax and we're $35,000 is what they will be paying. That does still have us below where we were in our 2024 Q2 for food and beverage. It puts us at like 185 and we were at 197 the year before in that same quarter with the additional tax that we expect to collect. So this is a conversation that we had with our finance committee meeting earlier this month. And while the transient lodging looks good, the restaurant is just a little bit under, and we have created a survey. 2 of our members have created a survey that we're going to send out to all of the hotels and restaurants to ask a handful of questions that we're working on building right now. And I'm just, trying to, because we bring in a percentage. So if their cost is higher, then we're higher. So just trying to evaluate is the restaurant ticket prices, what are they average to what they were last year? Are they higher? Same with room rates. Just trying to get an idea of number of people and if it's number of people that are less number of people coming, more number of people coming, just more higher cost in hotel or average ticket. So just trying to get a better picture of that and just and to have good communication with those two places. We do also have two food and beverage locations that are very much struggling to pay their food and beverage tax. So that is also reflected here as well. And we're working with them.
I guess the most pertinent question is, will we have enough, by the end of the year, will we have enough funding to meet our obligations for our debt services?
Yes. I think, well, Q3 and Q4 are going to tell a lot of that, but as we sit, it looks like we would, if we ran where we're at, we would project to pay our obligation.
And just in case, just to be clear, food and beverage tax is a major source for the bonds for the wastewater treatment. That was what the initial motivation to do that was to pay for wastewater treatment, and that's where most of the money goes. All of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. All of it goes. Okay. Anything else in terms of finances? Other than that, it looks like we're right on track. The enterprise funds are doing really well. And everything else just looked to me like it was just tracking as it should, over in one area, down in another. Okay. Anything else in terms of financial reports?
Did we already cover, or are we going back to the city council meetings?
You're welcome. Yeah, we covered it, but I went really fast.
I just had a question, we had talked about the fireworks survey, and then we had the fireworks working group, and wondering where everything stands at this point. Because we haven't met as a group, and
Nope. So after the meeting, we let the chamber know what the results were so that they could coordinate the low sound and shorter time fireworks show. And then as soon as we're really ready to start planning the rest of the day's events, we'll start working on that.
Okay, so that's where we ended up.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Or did you have? Okay. All right. Can I get a vote on approving the consent agenda for November 19th? All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, none opposed. We approve the consent agenda. All right, thank you. Moving on into new business. The first order of business we have listed is our public art ordinance, proposed public art ordinance. I thought personally that it was really well done, and I appreciate the work that went into it. So, can the city manager or our city counselor, Mary Ellen, give us a quick overview of where we're at and what comes next?
Indeed, I think it was well written, but we have to give Pendleton some of that. Well, most of it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. City of Pendleton actually did an excellent job. Many documents are collected. Many of them kept talking about how much it was increased the economy, and I just wanted something simple. I mean, we can't even say, I mean, I don't know if one piece of art is going to give what people do. I think it will. I think that we can work really hard at this. But we talk about the acquisition of it. You probably read it, the disposal, the committee, we're going to form a committee that's going to be, I can't read this. It's such bad eyes. What?
Here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is it in big print? The committee. Yeah, Yeah, I'm on the committee. You can see it, okay. So the committee will be, 5 members of the committee shall serve, well, that's that. Are you finding this? I'm not finding.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go. Following segments, local community, local artists, the business community, we thought they should be involved. That these, well, so we'll have artists, we'll have the business community, people from the local community. There will be some public hearings. We want to keep people involved in this. And it's, what this committee will do, will recommend pieces of art. There'll be calls put out, or there we maybe want something specific. Maybe we're looking for a mural, so that we don't have people sending random things in, although there will be times when we'll just call out for all the artists, whatever they want to submit. So where there's ways if we have to dispose of the art. I mean, I didn't realize it took all this, how you dispose of the art. If the art, if something happens to the piece of art, what do you do with that? So I think, again, all I can say is that Pendleton did a great job. We certainly made some changes to it that were specific to Yahats, but I recreate something if someone's really done a good job. And I'm excited about it. I think it's $1,500 for the first year. Did we decide?
I don't think we decided
Okay.
exact amount, but what I do like is that this does directly relate to one of our city council goals, 2.4. And that Councilor O'Shaughnessy was able to pull together a work group to evaluate a lot of different ordinances focused on public art from throughout the state and find the most concise one for what we're looking at. So I think you did a great job. So the next steps would be if there's any edits to this or suggestions to this that the council sees, or we can discuss those and we can make those and we can bring it back for a public hearing. So it becomes an official document for the city.
I did have a question or suggestion. There's probably many ways to address this, but I wouldn't want the city council to have to vote on each piece of art as it comes forward. So if there'd be some way, if it's very over a certain amount, yeah. But if somebody,
See what you're saying.
and especially donations, I think, and there may be a level, anything that's worth more than X, that it's a city manager, be delegate to the city manager. That was, having read it carefully, I think that was the only comment I had.
Okay, maybe then. Then develop the boundaries within which art is appropriate. Or does that need to be in? Well, I'm sure it could be that things that many of us don't think would be appropriate for our community would come in as, here's my donation. And not that we have to take it, but if it needs to fit a rubrics or whatever of appropriate, aesthetically, morally right, whatever.
Yeah, I think that would be left up to that committee to decide if it was appropriate or not, but they don't have a set guidelines for what that is specifically to use as their drawing board and to fall back on to reply to that person who wants to give this piece of art that we find not appropriate. I could.
I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that. I would think we're gonna appoint people that have common sense and realize what. If you want something in it, I'll put something in it. I guess I trust people that they know it when they see it, that it would not be appropriate for this community. But we can certainly have that. I don't know what that is. Is it like new people? Is it political things? I mean.
Well, I think that probably.
Why don't you send me some of your thoughts?
Defining, because.
Well, send me some of your thoughts, what you see it is, because you gave me some thoughts, so send me some thoughts, because I think political is one.
Nudity.
Nudity. I'm gonna have to take a while to think about
Yeah,
this.
right. Tastel nudity is okay.
It might be, it's probably out there somewhere, I assume. I didn't see in any one of, not one of the, and we must have 20.
Yeah.
It's not in any of them, so they talked about this. Yeah.
But it was a good question.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good addition. I think it's gonna be interesting to
Right.
develop what is that.
Ordinance, I'd suggest something like develop a standards or something like that.
Yeah.
I would want it in the order.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
No, but that's what my question was, would that group do that? So if we just mentioned that certain standards will be developed or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, certain standards will be used to judge the
Yeah.
people. Okay. Thank you.
Judging criteria.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a good addition.
anything else? Okay, that, which is a nice segue to the next item under new business, which was the allocation of funds for the community grant selection. I will kick it off by just saying that I really like this process.
Mhm.
You know, for years it was ad hoc, somebody comes in and we don't know who's coming and when they're coming. This was an open opportunity for a variety of people to come in. It's judged independent of the city, independently from the city, by people with experience in funding this kind of project, and it worked out really nicely. Thank you to the city manager for driving this forward. I think it's really great. And were there questions on this? Yes.
Yeah, in the third paragraph, it says there's 9 individual grant requests, there's only 8 listed. And so wondering what the name was, I also personally. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, I would have been interested to know what their request was. Not only what
Mhm,
the recommendation was at the end, but
Mhm.
what did they request?
mhm.
And then thirdly, I don't know what citizens between it.
I can take all those for you.
Okay.
One by one. First, I followed what the Lincoln County Economic Development Alliance does when they propose the funding recommendations from the grants that are reviewed to the Board of Commissioners. And the advice was that he always submits what is recommended for funding, partly out of trying to not highlight the folks that maybe didn't get the grant because they didn't write a good enough proposal or the project wasn't complete enough to receive the funds. So just highlighting the ones that were in public, because this is all public documentation. So featuring the ones that did get the money, not featuring ones that didn't get the money. And for the request to have the requested amount versus the recommended amount, it's kind of the same line of things, thinking is just to not show off what we didn't do, but what we are doing. I'm happy to share those numbers with you at any time, and I can list them if that's what you would like, but that was the thinking behind just providing you with what we do recommend, not highlighting what we don't recommend. Yeah.
What is Citizens for Clean Air?
Mhm. That is the pollinators group. And they are the No Spray Act that they've lobbied for the no spray signs at different points throughout the highway and all over the county. This one's specific to the South County area. And these Citizens for Clean Air are responsible for keeping up those areas of the highway with plants that will encourage pollination and yeah, more. There's more to it, but that's what I know of that group. And so, and education. They go to different events and provide education and provide seeds and pollinator seeds to kids and families.
You know, I want to remind everybody that this is, in the past, the city council used to vote on each one of these. In the last few years, I think 4 years, it's been money allocated for the city manager's spending discretion. And the city manager very wisely thought that it would be better to put in a structured way to allocate the monies that are allocated to her.
I'm super excited to try to get outside people.
Yeah, me too.
right.
But there was more funding requested than we had allocated to give. So all but one, no, there was, like I said, this would have been helpful for you to see what they recommended. There was two groups that did get their full recommended funding, and then every other group received a partial amount of funding. And just really trying to make sure most of the groups that had really good projects and were well vetted, were ready to be funded, ready to go, had some funding provided.
And we're doing it $50,000.
Mhm.
And this added a 48 too.
Mhm.
Correct, so that leaves us 1,800.
Mhm. Mhm.
Leave her.
Leaves her 1,800. Leaves us.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. There's no vote required on this. This is money that had been allocated.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, moving on. The next new business, which is our interviews for planning commission applicants. And thank you for being here and thank you for sitting through all of this. Why don't we go through this in reverse alphabetical order? So we'll start with Roland. If you would come forward and give us a little background, and then the city council likely has some questions for you. And I had a set of questions that I must have left on my printer or something. See if I can,
Next to your phone.
next to my phone, yeah.
I'm Roland Valbrand, and I've been living here in the area for about 3 years. And for many years before that. And I live at 970 Highway 101 North, across from the little drive-through coffee shop. I watch everybody go by. Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit more background to what you already have, because when I started looking at things, I forget how many things I've been involved in. So a lot of it has been, I've worked in county programs, county funded programs, especially in the LA area, and contractual program running on budgets. I've worked with senior housing and in developing programs for senior people. I have at least over 50 years as a family therapist. I worked as a treasurer and overseeing student housing at colleges. I worked with unions and I worked as a union rep, and then went on to administration. I was working as a coordinator with union reps. So I worked both sides of the fence. A lot of my work has been community work and it has been being out there and seeing what's going on. And I think I'm getting a reputation here of being around a lot, because people see me walking. So I have a lot of interest in what's going on, how things are developing. And I think what I can bring to it is I'm used to working with groups and I'm used to interacting and doing mediation or circular. So I actually is kind of wanting to look at a total picture and what ideas other people have and how that fits in. And so that's kind of a brief summary without naming things I've forgotten back then.
Okay. Questions?
What interested you most about the planning commission? When you have many skills, there's no doubt there, but in terms of, we have a number of commissions, planning seems to appeal to you. Why is that?
Yeah, I've been interested in seeing what's been developing for the area, housing. And one of them, the AUPs that have come up. The other part is how is Yahut's going to develop and not lose the good stuff it has. And that's a concern.
Mhm.
I've seen it, I've experienced it in several cities I've lived in many areas. Where the housing development was not well planned. And it ended up hurting a lot of residents that were already there. So I look at, you have a bunch of people, a lot of people here that have been here for many years, so things are going on. And how do you respect that? And also, develop programs for, well, one of the big things is for workers.
Mhm.
And that seems to be a big topic that's coming up. How does that fit in?
Mhm.
And how do you balance that? So that's what I've been seeing with the planning committee, some meetings I've attended, and some of the questions I've had for them.
Thank you.
I don't know if that answers your
Mhm.
question.
So, my question, what do you see the role of the planning commission to be?
I think that some of the major role has been to listen to what people are proposing, which is some of the things that I've seen come up. What needs to be adjusted with some of the ordinances, if some of those need to be relooked at. And certainly being a voice for a lot of community interaction, I guess would be in the planning for the future. And there's also already exists, I mean, I know the group, planning for the future is one that already exists. I've been involved myself with the Trails Commission, with the beautifying Yahat stuff. So, but more specifically with what you're asking, which is basically being able to problem solve and to look at what are the main concerns about what's going on and as the city is moving on and what's being presented to the group to be evaluated.
Questions?
I would like to ask each of you this, how many of the planning commission meetings have you attended? Okay, well, I mean, in the ballpark.
They're about probably 10.
Thank you.
I mean, I just periodically.
Right. That's more than me, so.
That, and I'm also, I mean, it's not my only area of interest, you know, because
Mhm.
trails has been
Yeah.
around. A lot of people know me because I worked with different groups. And I kind of like a hands-on a bit of a person.
Other questions? So the planning commission has to work, is, mandated by law, and they have to work within a very constrained set of rules. So if somebody comes in and asks for a variance, if it meets the code, even if you don't like it, are you willing to do that kind of homework and understand the explicit details that are required of a planning commissioner? It's not always the big picture. It's more typically the details of a specific request.
And having worked with unions, and having worked with middle management, I worked with Kaiser Permanente, and it's many layers. And so you have to work with, in that type of setting, with the doctors, with the other staff, in between coordinating stuff. And I was a coordinator, or actually manager for 3 programs within the Kaiser system for about 7 years. So I know exactly what you're saying.
The other question is, the city council has a goal of improving workforce housing. You touched on that. What are your thoughts on how that should move forward?
Would you repeat your question?
Yeah, the city council has a goal of increasing workforce housing. What are your thoughts on how that should move forward or not move forward?
What I'm looking at is what's already happening with Cascadia. Am I pronouncing that correctly? And with some of those ideas. And then I also looking at what has been developed in the mountain part of town that, what do you call it? The whole housing group.
First,
Diversity Lane, by Fistera. Fistera.
That, yeah, that's up
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
And so I think those are ideas that need to be developed further. Also, in looking how can possibly even having a more openness about using smaller plots of land.
Mhm.
And as I walk around, I see a lot of those sections, as a matter of fact, south of the bridge, on the left is this little piece of property. And I don't see what they're gonna be able to do with it within some of the restrictions that are going on at this time, but kind of looking at how can you better utilize and encourage the utilization of some development of these smaller areas. I think there's a lot of small places here, yachts. There's the one right by the Lions School, down that way. I know the city doesn't own much of that property, but it's kind of working with whoever owns it at this time.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, Roland. It's close, but we're gonna go reverse alphabetical. It'll be Dave Diamond would be up next.
Oh.
Got a D and a C.
Isn't it great what citizens like Roland we have? That's good. Okay, so mine will be drier. Or, anyways, my name is David Diamond. And my wife and I bought a lot here in Yachats in late 2016 on Hanley Drive. Our home, constructed by Cunningham Construction, was completed several years later, and we moved in on June 1st, 2019. I have come to love living in Yachats. You may recognize me as my wife and I are vendors at the Yachats Farmers Market, the succulent booth. Well, I feel that being a vendor at the market is a form of contribution to the community. I would like to join the Planning Commission as a volunteer to help with the important work of future growth in our community. Two of my neighbors, Mr. Sakamoto and Mr. Hogan, they're both commissioners on the Planning Commission, who are both current Planning Commission commissioners, approached me to suggest that I apply for one of the open seats. So here I am. After finishing my education in Southern California, I moved to the Willamette Valley in 1972. I met my future wife, Barbara, an Oregon native, at Oregon State University in 1973, October 14th to be exact. I worked and lived in the Junction City area until moving to Yachats. My work career was in the recreation vehicle industry. I took a design engineering position with Country Coach, a motorhome manufacturer in Junction City, Oregon. I worked my way up the corporate ladder to vice president of engineering and ultimately chief operations officer. I assisted the owners with negotiating the sale of the company and its assets to Winnebago Industries. Winnebago hired me as their West Coast plant production manager, and I set up their manufacturing processes in Junction City. After over 40 years in the RV industry, I retired and we moved to Yachats. So some relevant experience. I have a lot of expertise in housing, building codes and standards. I served for 5 years on the State of Oregon Manufactured Structures and Parts Advisory Board, a position that's appointed by the director of the State of Oregon Building Codes Division, or BCD. Issues coming before that board related to mobile homes and RVs, including zoning regulations as it applied to siting manufactured homes, etc. I also served on 5 different recreation vehicle industry technical committees, part of the RV Industry Association, including being a chairman of one of these committees. My focus is to represent all of the Yachats community, not just myself. My desire is to help shape longer-term community-wide goals, to assist in the decision-making process for community planning, priorities regarding housing, natural resource protection, as well as appropriate lot and street sizes. Planning decisions should be in consideration of the public, government agencies, plus current and future generations. I plan on making decisions based on common community interests rather than specific individual interests. Contribute to a rational process that uses factual information for Yachats planning. To consider reasonable alternatives in making planning decisions. I want to take the opportunity to advocate for our community needs and Yachats, looking to support what the majority of our citizens desire for the future. The planning process should continuously pursue and serve the public interest. The Planning Commission should consider and solicit feedback from all citizens regarding the development of plans and policy making. My hope is that my participation will help make Yachats a better community. Resource protection, our water, our beautiful environment like Bird City, and of course, our special responsibility to protect our beaches and the shoreline. I do expect homework related to Planning Commission activities. And there are, as I understand it, 7 basic steps for the Planning Commission. Step 1 is to examine the facts. Step 2 is to set goals based on those facts. Step 3 is to examine alternatives. And step 4 is to select an appropriate alternative. Step 5 is to implement. And step 6 is to evaluate the steps I just listed. And if that doesn't come out so good, you move to step 7, which is to go back to step 3 and look at alternatives again, and you cycle around until things are running smooth. The role of the Planning Commission is to develop and maintain the comprehensive plan, protect the integrity of the community's planning process, and foster the community's long-term interests. The ability to accept the will of the majority is important. Comprehensive plan is the controlling document. Zoning augments the comprehensive plan. If services are not available, zoning can limit the comprehensive plan. So that's basically my presentation for applying to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, David. Questions?
Yes, same question.
That's appropriate.
How many of the planning commission meetings have you attended? Roughly.
3 of them.
Thank you.
Other questions?
You did provide a very clear understanding of what your past experiences was and what you were interested in doing. So I'm having a hard time coming up with a question. You covered a lot of territory where I would have asked questions.
Yeah, I have a concern sort of based on what you said. We've had at least one, and I think more than one, several probably, people that applied for the Planning Commission thinking that it would be a lot of kind of big picture, getting a lot of input from the community, looking down the road, and we're going to develop, here, there, and this is what the big picture is going to be. But the reality is that most of what the commission does, probably 80%, is what are the rules? What are the laws? Does this person follow within those rules and laws? That there's not a whole lot of creativity, I guess, in the planning commission. It doesn't have that sort of broad scope to set aside to develop a vision for what the city should be. That's really the role of the city council. They do have a role certainly in the comprehensive plan, which needs updating. But are you going to be satisfied, given those kind of constraints where 80% of the job was the right documentation presented in order to grant this person a variance or not? Is all the planning steps in place for us to go forward with this plan?
Well, that's the question I was hoping I'd get asked.
Okay.
Because my strong suit is codes and standards. And if you're in a technical field, like codes and standards, it's very narrow. It's basically the National Electric Code, the Uniform Plumbing Code, et cetera, et cetera. And it's all rules, and you have to go by those rules. There's really no wiggle room. So in my career, I excelled in that area. Pretty boring guy, I guess.
Okay. Okay, I just want to kind of set expectations.
Yeah.
We've not done that in the past, and I think we've had some people that were unhappy with the actual role versus what their expectations. Yeah, it is. To some extent, it is. Yeah, it's a lot of following the rules is mandated by the state and by our code.
Well, when I was on it, it was the lighting ordinance.
Yeah.
It took forever. I learned more about lighting. So it did get to the point of like, let's just get it done, but it's really important. And we had a lot of we have the big spotlights. So it really was, as you're saying, it wasn't a big thing, but it was a big thing, but things like that.
A lot of detail.
A lot of detail. It took a lot of time.
The question I'm going to ask each of you is, the goal of the city council is to increase our middle housing. What are your feelings about that?
I'm sorry.
The goal of the city council is to increase middle housing in the city. What are your feelings about that?
So middle housing is defined in the Cascadia Partners presentation.
Yes.
Or
Yes, it's
economic.
well, it's considered, it's one housing that's affordable by people making 1.2% of the median income, county median income. There's some push to make it 1.4, but median income in Lincoln County is about 75,000. It depends on whose measure you take. So then you extend that out, figure out what a third of that would be on a monthly basis for housing.
And so the question really would apply to a zoning change to
It may-
enable that?
It may require, yes, most likely, which is what Cascadia Partners is presenting to the planning commission. In terms of density.
There's limited zones where that could occur in this community.
In our community, it's as much a question of rules. So, we have lot size limits, parking limits, et cetera. What Cascadia Partners is proposing is that we change those rules to enable different types of housing that is higher density and theoretically lower cost.
I would say in areas, and I hate to whitewash a whole zone with this, it's more the area, like how wide are the streets that exist? As I know you walk King Street now and then, that would not be a good selection for higher density. But some of the streets on the west side of 101, oftentimes on 3rd Street, I think there was conversation earlier about 3rd Street. I was thinking that would be a good street to open lots, or I know that on 4th Street, there's property for sale that would seem to be ideal for middle house. And, I would be all in favor of that. As long as contextually that kind of housing would be practical and accepted by the community, and I think it would on places on the west side of 101, especially what I mentioned, like those open properties, which are for sale, but I haven't seen anybody jump on them. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think just that. Any other questions? All right, let's move on to Steve Chase. Thank you, David. Yep. Good afternoon. And thank you for your patience. Growing up early and 2:10.
Actually, was pretty patient. Actually, I appreciate Mark mentioned that any of the three of us would be satisfactory commissioners for the planning commission. He has been yeah, about a minute and a half to thing to read to you. My initial presentation with planning commission was very short and sweet because I feel like brevity is kind of important for all of us. So let me just read this through. My name is Stevie Chase. I'm 72 years old. Will be 73 years old tomorrow.
Terrific.
We've now lived at 965 Usually Drive in our new house. And after many family vacations, we fell in love with the house. We purchased our building lot in 2015, built our home in 2023, and we moved here 2 years ago. So I applied to serve on the planning commission as a volunteer, like David, Greg, Greg Oden, and Mark Sakamoto as they walk by to catch me in the yard and if getting serve on the planning commission. And it was before there were 2 open seats built up that. So the planning commission has had 2 open seats for quite a while, and now there's 3 open seats. I've read and agree with the House comprehensive plan as government policy of the city. Understand the location. Along with my purpose plan. I've also read the reports provided by cascading partners, understand the virtual community. To wisely utilize the limited land available within the city limits for housing and commercial development. The preference is for yachts to continue to provide small town with visitors while maintaining a high quality of life for our fellow residents. To me, yachts is like Shangri-La. It's isolated and it's not open. We don't want to mess this thing up. I'm retired from a 40-year career in real estate, residential and commercial mortgage lending, banking. A long-time practical entrepreneur and continue to be active in business now. And he was selected to serve on the bring a financial and practical viewpoint of the planning commission. Very positive person, however, after living through 3 major economic crises during my career. It's not like crises, the national world crises. I try to anticipate risks. I look out for red flags. I try to foresee downturns and worst case scenarios. So I look for big and small risks that can affect the house in the region. I have dealt in my career with builders and developers, loan guarantors who break their promises, managed foreclosures on default loans, negotiated deeds in lieu of foreclosure. On the other hand, I've helped families with workouts to avoid foreclosure, keep their homes. Affordable housing initiatives are familiar with low-income housing tax credits and Section 8 vouchers. I'm also aware of the constraints of high cost of land here as well as extensive construction. During my career, I purchased and sold and renovated a number of residential and commercial properties. I've experienced with zoning compliance and government measures. Lending and banking experience can be a benefit to planning commission. I have working knowledge of every aspect of real estate valuation, investment, mortgage lending,
Yahoo is known as the gem of the coast, but it's an untouched gem. We like it that way. The recent land use survey from Cascadia indicated that, excuse me, I'm sorry, the recent land use survey after the presentation indicated that most of our fellow residents want Yahoo to enjoy the small town as a full character. The comprehensive plan echoes such desire. The second goal is to retain or increase tourism and visitor tax revenue. Third key goal is to preserve our city's watershed, forest, and shoreline. Therefore, the mandate for the planning commission of the city council is to make sure that the zoning goes along with these goals. If there is zoning codes that conflicts, we carefully revise them, maybe input a consensus. When I think about a first-time visitor to our town, driving down Highway 101, we want them to stop and shop and have a coffee or lunch or dinner. We want them to find lodging and stay for a while. The city's financial health depends on welcoming visitors. I'm not advising that Yahoo should ever look like Carmel, Cannon Beach, but we certainly don't want Yahoo to resemble our neighboring communities that are suffering from sprawl, run down buildings. Yahoo is a very small town, less than 1 square mile, with a land area, 582 acres within the city limits. Much of it is constrained for building by steep slopes. According to the Cascadia Apartments Land Survey in 2022, there are less than 100 buildable vacant residential lots, less than 20 commercial lots. Thinking through the community meetings and the planning meetings that I've attended, there seems to be to me, a little bit of a confusion about how big a problem we have in housing. And it would be fairly simple for us to make a list of every vacant lot and identify planning commission and the city council identify what the optimal use for those lots would be, based on highest and best use and conformity with goals. To conclude, if the skills and knowledge of a former hard-nosed banker are helpful for the planning commission.
Mr. C needs to go too. You had time to think.
I'll ask the same questions. How comfortable are you with the role of the planning commission in terms of detail versus big picture, development of the city in this direction versus that direction?
The planning commission meetings I've that I've attended by Zoom in person. It's like what you mean.
And then, the goal of the city council is to increase middle housing. What are your feelings about that?
Well, as I mentioned in my little presentation, number of available building lots and now is limited, and the price of land here is a big constraint. So Roland mentioned the 3 lots over here on 4th Street, measures 100 by 150. In those cities, that would be an adequate size lot for a duplex or 12 blocks. And the question is, would that be an appropriate location for the kind of housing we're talking about, whether it's small, or whether it's multi-level, it's about small apartment, that sort of thing. But the price on that parcel is $450,000. So you can extrapolate the building cost for a eightplex, let's say. The rent is still going to be in the neighborhood of $2,000 a month, $1,800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So the constraints that we have here are land costs primarily within the city limits. So we just go outside the city limits to the north, and the land is not cheap. I guess the question is how can we put it together with the developer.
Mhm. And you did mention that you had familiarity with low income loans. The state of Oregon now has a middle income loan program that we would be looking at to do that kind of work. It's brand new. It's just kind of started last year. But there are communities taking advantage of it already. Sure, if you can read low income loans, you can read this loan.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you to all three, as was said several times. Three excellent candidates, really well prepared, and I appreciate that very much. Whoever does not get selected to this particular commission, we do have openings on other commissions. Finance Commission, for example, would be excellent for for all three of you. That's a long range where we're going to find money kind of in a commission. It's something we could use help on.
The Parks and Commons Commission. Mhm.
Are we full in Public Works right now?
I think we are.
I think we are. And there's always emergency preparedness, even if you're not a full committee member. We
have 2 spots we need to fill in our budget committee as well.
Budget committee meets several times between like
May and June.
May and June. I think we actually meet earlier, but early May, let's say, through June, and then you're done. That's a annual kind of position, and people with experience with management, operations, budgeting are really valuable for that kind of position. Okay, we take a vote.
So you each have a card in front of you, and you can vote for 1 for your first choice, 2 for your second choice, and 3 for your third choice. And we will judge it. The first will be whoever gets the most number 1 votes, and then the second will be whoever gets the most number 2 votes. If we have a tie, we'll do a coin toss.
It's kind of a ring, sort of a modified ring choice.
Yeah, ranked. 1, 2, or 3. Your number 1 choice, your second choice, and your third choice. So we have 2 openings.
No, right.
We heard from Roland first, David Diamond second, and Stephen Chase third.
Named on.
Yep.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Just take your time.
Good problem to have.
We want it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
It's not secret.
not-
It's public record.
Catherine's still thinking.
Now we know.
Now we know who's which one you. Well, everybody, the name is on it. Public record. Another basket. You still have me.
I stopped.
I'm looking at the resolution and one of these seats expires 12/25. So do we re-up it immediately?
We would just, or the commission would ask them if they would like to, do another term, and then we would just forward it back to you.
A 2-year term?
I don't have the thing in, no, I think it's longer than that. Yeah, planning commission for a couple of years, 3 or 4.
2-year term?
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Is that a tie? No. Oh, yeah.
Usually not this involved. Pass it on down the road. All right, thank you. All right. So, the results of the vote are that, Stephen Chase and, David Diamond will be, have been selected to the planning commission. So congratulations. We need to vote on the ordinance.
On the
Resolution.
And
Okay.
then I'll enter that.
And then Roland did well, but third. So again, there are plenty of commission opportunities. Public spaces, Parks and Commons is looking at revising their role to be more public space. I think would be very appropriate for your.
You're also starting an art committee.
Okay, so can I get approval of resolution number 225269? Whereas the following commission members have agreed to accept appointments if offered, and the city council discussed the appointments at the November 19th, 2025 meeting. Now therefore, the city of Yachats reserves the following appointments are made. Planning Commissioner, seat D, term expires 2/25. Stephen Chase, seat G, the term expires 12/25 with an opportunity to re-enlist. It would go to David Diamond. Can I get a resolution to accept said resolution? A motion to accept that resolution. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any disagreement, say nay, and we're done. So thank you very much to all three of you. We're looking forward to some great planning commission meetings. Your expertise will be just wonderful to have on that commission. All right. And I'll sign that either virtually or I can do it whenever, tomorrow or so. Okay. I'm going to suggest we take a 10-minute break. We'll adjourn now and come back at 10 minutes to, or I'm sorry, 20 minutes to 3. Sorry, Nicole. I know you're all pumped and ready to go. Yeah, it's difficult voting for commissions.
And a whole year again.
Congratulations.
Next Tuesday's thing is gonna be. The standards that. I was saying, no naked, no having.
Maybe like, I think like a broad stroke.
Talking about represents values and. And who knows the values, then do you have to.
Like something that, yeah, represents our life safely.
Yeah. I think that's.
Nature,
somebody.
yeah, native,
That's-
world,
yeah, yeah,
nature,
yeah.
reflection of our native history.
Oh, wait, okay. I think that could do it. I mean. I think that is. I mean. Kind of like,
Living spirit.
yeah, because I know some have gotten real hassles. You should go outside. Oh, you mean outside?
Hold on, we can find out.
So glad I parked away from the building. Oh, my gosh.
God, no, she would interrupt this meeting, sit there in my chair on my lap. Her parking is horrible. She's talking. She's really moving, man. I didn't read, Savannah at home and bring in Cleopatra. Here's a friend. Oh, wow. Yeah. But I'm first. Yeah. I'm just, I was thinking.
Congratulations, sir. Your control is quite able for the PTO.
I know, so there's gonna be here, but I can't.
Maybe it's the Whitney, because I gotta go. The other blue cars still on.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Cedar or something. Yeah.
I need something that's going to sit out there in the elements.
Yeah, I needed my dog. We'll have to seal it.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably a seal. That's cool. Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be playing with you.
All of us.
With all of you. Amy? That's cool.
Yeah, when we find right over in the parcel, about over 5 months. Before I met you.
Yeah, yeah.
There was 2 open seats for a long time.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, there's.
All of a sudden, there's 3, like, whoa. What's this about?
I miss that outside, give myself a little fresh air, at home risk before I get back into.
What you doing? Good to see you.
Moving fast.
I'm good.
You too.
Good.
Hi, Amy, nice to see you again too.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about you, wasn't sure about the new website is still the first comment.
I just had a meeting with our communications firm that we are engaging for our grant. So we, a portion of that grant, so settled for the communications on the website. To meet them.
Okay, good. I know what's that I from all.
Everything is.
You jump in.
Okay. Wait on somebody else and then it makes. So that's kind of what I'm right now. And then the calendar is always a challenge. Getting all parties who need to be there. I think it's gonna be right. That will really be that how had some disappointments along the way with that in that regard, and as you know, it's biggest to get anything in conservation reasons. So
Yes.
we could have plenty conservation reasons underway, but they may not come to fruition for another 5 years. Who knows? It just depends on all the parameters and any. No, we came because the grants, so you've got to be bigger.
Yeah.
Workshop meetings, and we asked questions to answer, but it was just, yeah, we
Then I decided to take advantage of that.
It's hard for-
Getting ready to go through town, they're together like three. Yeah. Yeah.
It is full. Take him on his phone site. Okay, good. Right outside the city limits. Like mine.
And, we would do just.
Right up this too.
And, we tried to tear apart PHP bars. And, usually it's
And the walk-up table.
You know, it was. Last 40 years. Yeah. And then. You can't afford to trade with.
It's a naming convention, so.
There are people.
Oh, no, I was thinking.
I have a number. Yeah.
Percentage of the west side versus the
Yeah.
east side. That'd be something I'd be curious about.
Yeah. I'm with you there. Initially.
The release of the files. I'm sure it'll all be 100% accurate once it is.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go, everything was.
Right.
I was excited, but so I used it a little bit more.
Yes. Is there any incentives?
But it was fun working for a manufacturer. Get built.
Just on 2 minutes.
Okay, I got resituated.
Wow, I like that. It's been, that's right. Rather than not go to parents, it would be better. Right, if it was, maybe it was. Maybe somebody else that was over the phone call said. Instead of, I mean, I was like. Just read so you want to.
Yeah.
To see what they requested.
Yeah.
So I know people.
I still have an appointment to make.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's the first week of November, you wanted to do it. Oh, that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know she California's
On the second.
Right, thank you so much. Tuesday, I need to keep it. I'm sure it's on there somewhere, but I was going through every day, I'm like, oh, just ask.
So I can't do the recap this month. I could do it Monday, but it would be, if they wanted Friday, I can't.
It's Friday. I can do it. I'm trying to get one from long ago. All my people were trying to call me from people in Michigan and just 3 hour drive difference. That makes a difference.
I know.
So yeah,
Okay, thank
be
you.
up all night. I'll do it. And like you're doing such a nice job. Well, let's throw it on the wall. But I really made.
Hard to keep it
I made
short.
notes.
Yeah, no, you did a nice job. So,
I still have my index.
okay, all right, let's re-engage. Okay, we've got some, okay. We're gonna restart, come out of adjournment of the Yachad City Council meeting of November 19th, 2024. The first order of business in our ongoing business is our chamber quarterly report. And we had a beautiful presentation provided to us by the chamber. including the design standards that are being developed or moving forward? Good thing you're tall.
Everybody, so you can, you can recap in Q1, so the 4th of July, was huge this year. All of our hotels were paid. The lobby operator was the biggest, was the most well attended ever. Incredible to see how many people came for that. You know, we worked with Dog Disposal, they donated a bunch of trash cans and they were for, like, they're luckily we have those because it's really, I feel like it has been keeping the city nice and clean during the thank goodness. And then we had Angel Job Corps, they held the fire line for us and it really just the fireworks went on without any big hiccups this year, so that was great. The Mushroom Festival was also huge. We sold over 900 tickets beforehand, not including the tickets that we did on site. There was like an estimated of 2,000 visitors over the weekend to our info tent, which is like dog food what it was last year. So that's pretty incredible. All the hotels were at 100% occupancy. It was all just hard for us to get hotels rooms for our volunteers because they were booked out so far in advance. So the Adobe gave us one of their license rooms that they don't rent out for volunteers because they were so booked, which is awesome. Yeah, and I feel like you know, with everything that's going on, like it could continue to go, but also it's like I don't even know if it could grow anymore. It's so big, but it was great. Lots of good feedback. We had the King's protest going on, and it actually like it really just the flow of the town was really smooth. I'm excited to have the trolley next year for the transportation. We did a carpooling thing this year, and it worked out. But it'll be nice to have the trolley to kind of keep people moving around, and it'll help the parking here at this small little space. Okay, so that was just like our two big events in Q1. Moving on to the marketing part of it. The branding guide is complete, which is fantastic. It's so detailed. So she made it that detailed so that it's easy for anybody to use any of the guidelines in any sort of marketing thing, like now or in the future. So if we're not working with them or I'm not here, they'll be able to look at this, all the fonts, all the sizes, everything is there, easy to use and access for all the different platforms that they're using. So it's incredible, it's beautiful. I'm so excited to launch it, start using it. The website is 98% complete. They're just doing the last minute, like making the, you know, the little buttons move and all the little tiny little details that take a long time, but it's, I feel like it'll be ready as soon as like after Thanksgiving, but the question is, do we want to launch all of the website and the branding between Thanksgiving and Christmas, or do we want to have it be something that we do in January? It's like this big thing, kind of draw people when it's like the dead of winter. I don't know. It's one of those like we're not sure which way to go, but
I think it kind of lost in like Thanksgiving and Christmas kind of family blah blah. I don't know. I may be wrong, but yeah, people are pretty concentrated.
I feel like January would be good too for like a fresh start. Yeah. Yeah.
Soft launch.
Yeah, I feel like with, you know, if something if we launched it in between now and Christmas, I feel like it would get some attention, but I think people
Get lost.
So it would be really cool to do it all in June.
Yeah. Well, it's a new year. You're kicking off. I mean, you could use the whole clear.
Yeah.
New year, new us.
Yeah. And, I did link down there some pictures. I don't know if everybody looked down, but those are some of like the landing pages that they created. Like the hiking, the trails, the lodging, with all the lodging partners that we have, and yeah, with like some of like the businesses that don't have websites, she's just had their address and tried to, help as best as she could. But yeah, it's really easy. It's really smooth access. And I think it's really, it's simple, but also in depth. So it's great. And once it is completely finished in the next week or so, I will send it all to you guys to navigate it before we launch it officially. So very excited about that. Our social media has just skyrocketed. We had a couple of like posts that reached thousands of viewers, which is incredible for Yamaha being the smallest we are. It's awesome. It's really cool to see that outreach. We had 380,000 views total from BorderCon on Facebook, which is, I think, kind of mind blowing that many people look at something that we're not supposed to. So with this new content that we create, so I guess with the 4th of July, they went out and got a bunch of new content for the social for everything, and that's what they've been using. We're slowly starting to like shape the social media and into this new. They haven't quite launched the branding, right? But like the new photos and the new content, and since then, Travelorian, Hotphoto, these other companies are resharing all of our posts and collaborating with us, which is really good for us. And we are getting likes and views that like off us on our post. Like I think I put one of them in there for the Mushroom Festival, the poster. Like that's and the Cape Cod one, like those are that many views for one post is what these big companies do. And we're like we have 7 months. So it's pretty cool. We did gain so many followers on Instagram. It was 800 followers. We do have our videos up on YouTube, and we've had 639 impressions and a little more than 1,500 views for those. And it's not even really like it's kind of like our lower social media stream, but that's just the beginning. That's just Q1, so it's just gonna grow from there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Q2 and once they start to launch, I'm really good. I'm excited to start to see all that. But just these stats alone are pretty cool for just this company. So it's great. I also this social report, like style, that's what the kind of is for the website. So does anybody have any questions?
No, I do. Go ahead.
What do you need?
Okay. I love the visual mood set of the branding campaign. It's really nice. Just a little nit, in terms of visually impaired people. Some of the themes don't have the kind of contrast that would be appropriate for visually impaired people. I'm wondering if there's something that the web developers might be able to do in terms of an optional approach. I know that there's some extensions on browsers that allow them to make changes, but a lot of that depends on, is it an image versus actual text, etc. So
Sure.
Just keep thinking about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My other comments, I have a couple. Can we live up to the images created by the strategy? They're so beautiful. It's so nice. It's really something. Have we tested the no Wi-Fi needed message? Has that been several of the things say, come to Yaha, it's no Wi-Fi needed. Does that? I'd like to see whether like to test that. Does that attract more people than it discourages? Yeah. Good. So, and then
Wi-Fi.
yeah, no Wi-Fi. Yeah, no needed because we don't have it. Yeah. No cell service.
Maybe like a place to disconnect or.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a negative word in it. It still implies the same.
We'll think about that. You sort of These last two you mentioned, some of the businesses don't have business profile, don't have websites. But I know you did a presentation on Google Maps a couple months ago. It's really critical that businesses own their Google Maps site as a business. And you know, I love social media and I love what you've done with social media, but some of these bread and butter issues around like, do you control your own Google Maps site are really important. So it'd be nice to start taking an audit. Maybe we don't have that many businesses. See how many of them have ownership of have Google Maps ownership. And the other thing, you know, you're talking to an old thing. I did not see the web stats, and I found this is July. These little ones are, you know, Facebook and Instagram, and this great big thing in the middle is Google. People are still finding us via search, Google search, and visiting us via Google. So this would be a great time to start looking at your statistics in terms of how were we doing with the previous website. Now, once we get a new website, look at this beautiful increase that we've got.
I actually, website, I kind of forgot about the old website, adding in all the statistics for that, so thank you, but I will do that.
Yeah, and my experience would be it'll take a little bit of time to ramp.
Okay, and I know that they're really into SEOs and all that, kinds of that they're working behind the scenes.
Yeah, SEO has changed dramatically. It's not the same as when they presented to us.
They're in, I think that's one of the things that they said, that that's something that they're going to be working on forever. Like, it's not something that's.
Right. Yeah, it has to go on, and it's really content based. Having good content that machines can read. And those were my comments. Really, if we could, but your report was beautiful. I really love the branding strategy. It just looks great. Congratulations.
Thank you for including the brand guide and being able to like look at the different taglines, the voice, the writing styles, and the brand application examples they're beautiful. You can see that all of the work that's been done just to create the content in preparation to launch it all together. Like it's really beautifully done.
And also too, there was one. Poster, I think, was that linked to the?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that's gonna be something that we're gonna watch for the winter campaigns. So that's. That like, you know, we say all that, so we're gonna have a link to the website, so we'll be able to see how that works. All right, well. Example, score watch. Yeah. Well,
Great. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And I will send seats.
Great.
Okay.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Okay. Now we're gonna get into the weeds with our, we're in November. And we're gonna look at how we're doing on our goals in our tracking sheet. Say that we've made really good progress in a lot of areas. Very proud of it. You manager, do you wanna, you look at these all the time. I know you do.
We are busy. We're doing a lot of work within our city staff. We all are moving and shaking all the time to work towards these goals. And I will say it time and time again, I love having these goals to work off of and use as our guiding work plan for the year and being able to refer back to. Or also, you know, when other things come up, then being able to look at this to see if those things that come up are in line with the goals or not, and being able to use that as like the determining factor if we're going to take on a new project or not. So they're very, very valuable to our team. And as you can see, I've added a lot of detail in here for updates, and some of these projects have taken on a lot of time and energy, such as the water tank one, which we've had some good discussion on earlier, and it's a topic that is always top of mind, and looking at the new reservoir and the feasibility and how that's evolved, and where we're now looking at a second property, and where that will lead us, and then navigating the funding options along the way, and making sure that we're staying on top of what comes out from Business Oregon, and any other type of funding source through DEQ, anything that's in line with water and water infrastructure, and making sure that we have a high level of capacity for any further developments that we'd like to do. Do you have any questions on the updates? I feel like there's a lot that I've added in here. Some things admittedly have more taken the backseat to some of the bigger projects, and you can see that in the notes that I've done for updates. We have our Edmonds property, and we just kind of keep working little by little on that near the water tank and or the water plant. We did install the street lights, and have made it so we can get our large equipment up there, and large equipment to do further work on the property, leveling it out as needed and things like that.
You decided that the cabin that was there was inappropriate for city staff.
It's there. It's that when we right now, we did create an agreement with our city attorney to work out adding it into a policy that we had a place that they could live, but it's not adequate right now, and we haven't had the time to make it adequate.
Okay.
So it's there. It's not, haven't ruled it out, but it hasn't been the top of priority to make it.
I think staff needs to feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's most important.
Nobody's that excited about it.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay.
So the ones that would be staying up there.
Yeah, that's important.
Let's see. I think something that's really exciting and shows the diligence of our city staff is the our pedestrian safety has been a top goal, looking at traffic calming measures, working with ODOT, and the conversations have evolved throughout the year, and we've been in regular contact with ODOT throughout the year, and we, as you know, were able to execute the speed zone changes and modifications with support from our commissioners, our Public Works and Streets commissioners that really showed up for that. Also, we did apply for 3 years in a row to the Transportation Growth Management Plan, which is really instrumental in any type of further work we want to do to our highway. That is of main concern. If it's adding more crosswalks, if it's adding more sidewalks, just really truly evaluating with a professional that would all fall under this Transportation Growth Management grant to pay for the planning of that. And that would include so much public input to get to the point of creating a plan, to get to the point of funding for a plan. We didn't get it after the third year of applying for it, but I was cued into a tip for contacting the ODOT staff, and that sometimes the staff has the availability to fund projects. So I contacted the ODOT staff that I'd been working with, and just said, this is really high priority for us as a city council goal, something we've been really working on. This is our third year of applying. We are in an incredibly competitive region 2 for ODOT, which is Linden, Benton County, Corvallis, Willamette. There's a lot of big communities, Florence, Newport, and just really expressed the desire for implementing traffic calming measures and adding to our sidewalks. And they said, you know what, we really, really loved hearing your proposal. We liked your proposal. We see that you have done this 3 times now. We are going to go ahead and have some budget allocation to you guys. And so they're going to work with us on funding a transportation growth management, even though we didn't successfully get the grant. So that's a big deal in moving that goal forward. Some of these goals are going to go way beyond just this one
Yeah.
year. But we'll keep making progress on them and keep reporting that progress.
I had a question on that.
I also see Catherine after. you.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Under synchronize and update city policies and administrative rules around the city council rules, it isn't checked as complete. I thought we completed it.
Oh, I have to work my way down there.
Yeah, so-
That was all the way down at the end.
Yeah.
I said the updated council rules were adopted in September 2020.
Oh, am I working?
Gosh, complete.
I'm working off a different link then.
Are you on the live link?
Yeah. Okay.
Tis a mystery.
Yeah, line 42. J42.
I don't see, this is a PDF. I think.
Oh, that might be, I linked so if you're looking at the PDF, it
Oh, I
just
see.
updates
There's a,
since then.
yeah. I
Sorry.
see. Okay,
The
yeah.
version.
That's right. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry, Catherine.
No, back to the traffic calming measures. I think last time we met that the, movable speed
Mhm,
thing
mhm.
was like coming the next day or something.
It's
like that.
here. It's getting
Is it
programmed.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it showed up last week, so Sheriff's Office is programming it and then getting locks and I think maybe some decals for it. But it is here, I would assume within a week, maybe. But I'll keep getting on that.
Cool.
Yeah. And that we'll, next quarter be able to show some statistics to how the deputies are able to utilize
Now, are
them.
you able to be at one end of town while it's talking to people at the other end and letting you know, or you have to be pretty
I
close?
don't believe so, I think I will have to be in a spot where I can see the reader board.
Yes.
But I can obviously have the car hitting. Known that I'm going, but I just have to see it. Then I'll roll the red tickets and it stops.
I think you've done a good job of a hiding thing.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, seriously, I might pass you. Well, unfortunately, I'm past you when I see it, but you got me kind of scared, so. I've been much better about my speed.
And Kimmy did just share that she noticed on her way in that the 35-mile-an-hour
Yeah,
signs are.
I was so excited.
Really?
Today,
And I will be a testament to how signs are not seen.
Maybe some balloons attached to them.
Those are flashing.
It's interesting. So I fully recognize that a lot of these are as much process as the
Mm.
product, but can we talk about the wetlands assessment?
Yes.
What we need to do to wrap that, and I would love to see it wrapped up this year as year 3.
Yep, Catherine's going to speak to that, as this is her main project, well, not her main project, but she
Yeah,
is the main person for this project.
Well, and I wish the mayor were right. I wish it was just year 3, but we're actually on year 14. So, so if it feels like it's going slowly, to me, it feels like we've actually picked up the pace a bit. But just looking at where we kind of left off on the goals list here, well, what's happened in the last calendar year? Back in February, Department of State Lands, DSL, contracted with a staff member who was retiring, contracted with him to finish up our wetlands inventory, because that had been part of the holdup, is that they just don't have a whole lot of staff for that right now. We're kind of doing it after most of the state, and they're not beefed up to handle that the way they were 10 years ago. So we got a dedicated guy, which has helped a lot. And that happened around the 1st of February. By the end of February, he had finished his review of the current draft at that point. And that review generated a list of 37 questions that he wanted to see addressed. Most of those were for Pacific Habitat, the consultants who are actually doing the field work for us. Some were for city staff, me. So there was sort of another round of communications in early May where we checked in to see how we were doing. There were still some remaining questions. As of 1st of September, which is sort of the last iteration of the draft that I saw, we had all but 10 of those 37 questions had been addressed satisfactorily for DSL. They've been checking them off as we go. And the 10 remaining questions are all Pacific Habitat things. So the city responses are complete. We're just sort of waiting for Pacific Habitat to finish those up to DSL's satisfaction. And to be honest, they're over my head. I can't tell you how complicated they are, if Pacific Habitat is dragging their feet or if they really take a fair amount of pondering. Reached out to DSL just a couple of days ago for an update, and that's they're still waiting for the next round from Pacific Habitat. Didn't hear anything back in time for your meeting, but we have certainly made progress this year, more than we've made in the last 12 or 14 years. I don't want to promise by the end of the year, but it's possible. Because the review is happening as we go, I don't think it's going to sit for a huge long time with DSL once they get something back on this latest review.
And what are we doing in terms of Pacific Habitat? I mean, do they understand that we have that I have a high level of urgency around this, that this is something that I 4 years ago when I ran for mayor, I thought this is silly that it's not complete.
Well, and it was sort of the platform I ran on for planner. And so I get it. But yeah, they understand that it's a high priority for us. And Bobby and I had a meeting with both DSL and Pacific Habitat earlier this year, and I think everybody's on the same page. Definitely DSL knows that we're pushing hard, and so they're helping me in nudging Pacific Habitat. Some of what has taken a little bit longer on this last review is probably that I had asked for a couple of specific things that will make this a more useful tool for planning purposes, and that is that they indicate the areas that they were unable to do site-specific investigation of. So what we had in the draft sort of said, here are the areas of interest where you have some wetlands, but there were a lot of parts of the city that they were not able, these people denied them access to their property. They were not able to say anything about one way or another. Some of those were kind of obvious because a wetland would run right up to a property line and then stop in this nice straight line. And you just kind of know that's not what's really happening out there. But there were a couple of properties of interest to Pacific Habitat that didn't get investigated 12 years ago. And so they're trying to clean that up. And I think that's worth a little extra wait time. If we pick up on a few more. Some surprised me. They were in areas that I would not have considered of interest. But at least when we get this working map back, it will let me know this site has been investigated and there's nothing to see here, or this one's still a mystery. So if somebody proposes development, we can put the burden on the property owner to basically prove that there's nothing of value there in terms of a wetland resource.
All right, well, I think we need to just keep focused on this. If there's 10 outstanding items, we can start looking at how we're doing on each of those 10. I don't normally want to get involved in this level of detail, but this is something that, as you say, we dropped the ball the first time around, and I don't want to drop the ball the second. I want to keep the pressure on the third parties let them know that we are concerned and that this is something that is important to us. I'll leave it at that.
Understood.
We'll keep the follow-up happening.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Hey,
You're
Catherine.
welcome.
More in this livability section, the little bit more with our contract with the Sheriff's Department. Deputy Brody continues to have a strong presence in Yachats, and he is dealt very quickly to situations that have arose that have been brought to my attention. Notably some campers and dogs on 4th Street, and he did a very, very good job of addressing that as soon as he was able to. That kind of flared up coincidentally when he happened to be at a training for 1 week and then followed up by a vacation for 1 week. So he wasn't in Yachats for 2 weeks, and with that being noticed, that happened to flare up. There was a couple of things that flared up in the lack of his presence. So I think that just goes to show that he's being noticed and his presence is valuable. Counselor Carey is assigned to work on a loitering and nuisance ordinance for pets.
With your help, needing to really set up a time to meet with the deputy and even the animal control officer.
What's the intent? That something about, is it animal control issues?
Well, one of the things that I kind of had been tasked with was to relook at our animal ordinance.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that, but I think it's important to involve people who kind of help enforce it to hear.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to better understand the county's ordinances too, and to help have us be kind of similar compliance to theirs as well, since we utilize them.
Right,
It
and
makes
League of
sense.
Oregon Cities has a really comprehensive, probably much more than we need, or animal ordinance, that I've been reviewing, but, like I said, it's probably got way more bells and whistles
Okay.
than we necessarily need, but.
Cows, pigs,
Hmm?
cows and pigs and.
Yeah, and plus, it just has a lot of detail that I'm not sure we need that much, but so at some point, I was gonna bring that up to you outside of here, but, somehow we could all meet, that would be great.
Sure.
I met with, I had a conversation with the sheriff last week, and he's super excited that their building up in Wallport is just days away from opening up. It'll.
The animal shelter?
Animal shelter, it'll give the animal control people much more incentive, I guess, the ability to take animals that they may have said, well, there's nowhere to put them, so. So that's good time to start working on that.
The undergrounding is well underway with the estuary walkway that's phase 1 of the project. We just yesterday saw some finalized plans with where the electrical is going and the trenching and everything that's going to happen with that. So we should start seeing construction happening with that very soon. We also are working on a scope of work for our RFP to put out in later December, in hopes that in January we'll be able to actually, so we hope to have it like finalized in later December. We're going to put it out in January at the beginning of the year is when we're going to release the RFP. So we're working towards getting that prepared. When our whole staff and engineering team goes over the scope of work and the contract, I will have our work group review it as well, just since they've been very helpful in this whole process. I want to make sure that they've got their eyes on it too, and they come up with things that we might have missed that were important to them at the very beginning level of the planning project. So it's a good thing to make sure that they stay involved. They're also working on the signage that will go on the estuary walkway. So they're still involved, but they've shifted to signage a little bit more. And then we just reviewed the first draft of the public art ordinance with Councilor O'Shaughnessy and her work group. The Commons did just have the sound and light complete just in time for the Celtic Festival. The light is now LED and it's much more efficient. Where it was drawing 300 watts or amps is now drawing 40. And it is significantly cooler on stage, I hear, and in the room in general is a big difference felt from the heat that those are putting out. And the music the sound is crisp, and I got to hear it during the Celtic Festival. It was a great way to really test the new system out, and have received compliments from people outside of the community and inside of the community sending emails noticing the upgrades. So that's nice to hear. The Parks and Commons group that we're looking at evolving into a community spaces committee. They are looking at the master plan that was created and what priorities they'll bring forward to request in the CIP budget for this upcoming year on the commons space and the community space. And the bathrooms upgrade is underway. It is being built right now. The ADA bathrooms on the north end of town. The building.
I didn't see anything. Are they
You-
under in the
So if you peek in, like if you're at City Hall, you can see the construction happening through the windows of room 7 because they're like inside
I
rooms.
find it
Yeah,
minimize disruption.
yeah, yeah.
In the pictures, wherever we saw pictures of it, maybe it was online, I don't remember where we saw pictures. It looked like the walls were, because there were strip lights, it looked like the walls only went up this close to the ceiling.
You just wait and see, okay?
No, but it's gonna be private.
There has to be ducting, so it's process.
Okay.
It'll be a full bathroom when it's. Funny because it hit me too. I asked the same question. I'm like, wait a second, that's not a full wall. That's what they said. You just wait and see, Missy. Yeah, so moving right along, into our housing supply goal, really a lot of this is spearheaded by the Cascadia partners, presented code concepts and the community input and hopefully adoption of those concepts to address a lot of these areas. So it'll be a long process as well. The exploration for strategies and repurposing housing stock. I don't know that we really had any major progress on that, but really anything that we want to do is going to be so wrapped up into these code amendments, like to be able to, take a single family resident and make it into a duplex or anything like that. That will take the zoning changes that are in these concepts. So there's a lot in these concepts from Cascadia to be able to evolve with these other goals.
I thought we had talked a bit on that about making sure our code allowed us to structures and steps that we would have to take, and I think we had made some good progress.
We have with identifying the code, the nuisance code, and we haven't taken it yet the next step further though, and really solidifying that. One thing, as we've been really looking at the urban renewal district, and if we're going to do a substantial amendment or if we're going to do a brand new one, something that I was thinking that might be able to be worked into the project list for that would be potentially purchasing or having money aside for the condemnation process of these nuisance properties. That or buying the properties and cleaning them up and then having them held as for organizations like Habitat for Humanity or Northwest Development to come in and be able to build. And then because we would own the land, then they would only have the expense of the build and then therefore be able to have some of that meeting those housing goals of workforce housing that we've talked about and have been kind of trying to figure out how to work those in. I think that could be a really good way to work that in, but getting that to the place where we can do the condemnation is kind of that link we're at right now.
You've given a lot of thought, a lot of work. I don't want you to minimize that particular item.
And then to the subject of water capacity, Rick McClung is going to be visiting the Planning Commission next month and talking to them and giving them kind of the same presentation that he's given us on water capacity and water usage and the addition of ADUs and how that will affect our current water supply, and give them some talking points, some answers, some information so that they could have good answers and educated answers to be able to respond to concerned citizens that are worried about the strain on our capacity, and how to work that into their plans and their work with Cascadia partners. So I think that's a good move forward also in that goal and the city working together. Environmental stewardship. We talked a little bit earlier about in our executive session about the open spaces and the opportunities to expand on that. And I think I would like to have more direction from the city council after the discussion today on how to continue evolving what we want to do for land donations, land acquisitions. I think I'd like to work with you guys on that project and, continue down that path with your guidance.
Yeah.
And then wetlands inventory. Anything else that's like jumping out that you want to make sure to talk about, or do you want me to keep hitting everyone?
I think it'd be good to
Yeah.
let the whole council know that what the finance committee is working on with
Yes.
urban renewal.
Yes.
You mentioned it, and I don't know.
Yes, and I've tried to keep everybody, in the loop a little bit with some emails of what we've been working on, and I sent the link to everybody of the video that Elaine Howard did on Urban Renewal District 101 and that was just like 3 months ago. Yeah, in a neighboring city, North Bend on the coast. So it was relevant, it was new, it was really informational. I learned a lot. And I think that everybody who has watched it has taken some really important aspects of it away. I did part of the conversation with the committee, finance committee, we realized when we started looking into urban renewals that we needed to look at a consultant, and then I happened across this video with Elaine, but I also at the same time reached out to all my city manager listserv and asked who they had all used for a consultant for urban renewal, and she was the only one anybody. So I did reach out to her, and I'm glad that I did when I did, because she is on her way to retirement and she's not taking on many clients, and she does have a love for Yachats and a connection to Yachats, so she will take us on. And with that, she is looking at our current urban renewal district and is creating a memo to bring to us. And we're going to do that in our January 21st meeting. We'll have a work session before our regular session. And Elaine will come with the results of what she's found in our urban renewal district. We will do a co-meeting with the finance committee like we did with the planning commission several months back. Well, so we can all listen and work together and get the same information at the same time. And the big question will be, can we continue on with our urban renewal that we have and do a substantial amendment to continue that on? Or do we start new? And from what I gleaned from that video, I think it would be advantageous of us to be able to try to continue on with our existing urban renewal versus starting it over. But we have to really, she will find if that's possible or not and present that to us. So I think working with her is going to be very helpful in us really launching this forward and moving it forward. And I'm excited about it. Actually, really excited about it.
It's a big revenue for city budget, and if if and ending went away, it would be a big hole for us to try.
Yes, it would. And we have a lot of really good ideas and projects that we want to see go forward, but a lot of them are really expensive. And so this might be ways that we could look at working those into a funding plan.
As I was watching that video and learning a lot, and I must admit something distracted me, so I didn't watch the very, very end. So, but I was thinking that might be something that would be useful or to be like on our website or something for people in the community, because I really didn't understand what it was all about.
Same. My thought with that would be, we record our meetings, and so making sure that the one that we record with her is available for people to listen, so they can really hear what we're talking about doing in our town and stuff, and have that. So I thought that would be a good idea.
But even just the basics of, which I don't know if everybody does, is that it doesn't add any tax to your residents, it just shifts the percentage of tax that goes to certain places.
Right. And I think that's something she will also cover when she talks to us too. So I think it's going to be very similar, but more geared specific to us.
It's like,
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong at all about that. I think that I was just thinking that we would share our own, but we can get something out sooner before, so people know kind of ahead of time coming into that meeting. Yeah.
I think the graph, for me, it was the graph showing the difference between if we didn't have an urban renewal and we do, and that incremental revenue that comes into the city versus elsewhere. Would be really good for the state of the city, maybe to help people understand that where we get our money. And I just saw somebody posted the other day about, why are they doing this, that, the city could use that money elsewhere or something. And it was like, our little paltry amount that we get from property taxes, not enough to do anything. And if it weren't for urban renewal, it would be really problematic.
We are working on our content for our newsletter. Maybe there could be a link to that in the newsletter. So this is, something that's coming up that we're looking at. Here's just a little 101 to get you to start learning about it before the conversation comes here.
Yeah. A few people might appreciate it. It's a little premature because if we can't renew, we're starting from a kind of a high property value that would take us many years to get up where we're getting any appreciable money from an urban renewal district.
Well, when does this one expire?
How many couple $100,000?
Yeah.
No, right, well.
2029.
Okay, so I mean, for community members, I think just in terms of things you might like to know more about, not that we're investigating doing it again, but what things you might like to learn more about, here's a 101 video on what this means. Because it's still here and maybe they don't understand it.
Yeah. anyways, I think that's gonna be good. I think there's gonna be a lot of education that comes out of that period, and on the funding sources for sure. Let's see. Well, we just did our community grants today. Thank you very much for approving those. That was a completion of a goal that we'd set out for this year. And I look forward to watching that evolve throughout the years. And so going into public awareness, we've been doing a lot in the public awareness goal section. We keep moving forward with regular engagement through social media. Our monthly newsletter continues to evolve and we keep getting more and more valuable content put in there. The videos that we do for the summary after the meeting are really helpful. I think with the videos we've put out with highlighting different parts of work that we do with the code, Mary Ellen's interview with the code compliance officer. Then we did the water one when we were looking at water constraints with Rick. And then we just did one with Becca, encouraging people to do online billing and sharing little bits of our people with the work that they do and how to streamline people's services or support city services. We are already preparing our documents and budget documents and CIP stuff for our next year's budget and next year's CIP process. We're getting all of the commissioners really talking about what their goals are so that they can bring goals to the January goal setting session with City Council and that we could hear what they have to say when we're looking at implementing the goals, because these goals become our work plan. These goals become our work plan, and they are committees that are helping our city staff, which are implementing our city council's goals. So it's just really trying to get into this flow of work, and I think we're almost there.
Almost.
Almost there. But then but they're really taking it seriously, and they've come up with some really good goals. And I think that they will be excited to see them come to you and see how they can get implemented into the city's work plan for the year, and then how they can ultimately support that. And then again, getting our budget in line with that as well.
That's I really appreciate that. I think that's a great move forward, is to hear from the commissions and the committees and let them inform us as to what's important to them. Glad that took a while, a couple of years, but I think they're starting to get it. I'm looking forward to seeing where we're at this year.
Yes. And the vacation rental code, we're working away on that. We're going to be preparing to bring that again for public hearing in December. We've got some very valuable information from our city attorney on how to move forward with that. I think we all agree that we're not trying to change the sentiment of it. We're just trying to clarify the language. And I will also report that we have cleared out our wait list.
Oh,
So there shouldn't be a super concern about getting a license at this point. We've got space available. We are also, to that note, we contacted Lincoln County after last meeting to ask them what they're doing for their STR monitoring, the website monitoring. I asked if we could partner with them on their software, and unfortunately that's not possible, but they did give us the name of the company they use.
And I have the name of the company. They're harassing me by email.
Our city staff this morning, before we came into the meetings today, sat on a demo call with the company that the county uses, and they
remember
Numo? MuniRev.
Yeah, GovPlus, MuniRev.
Yeah.
And GovPlus. So we talked to the parent company, yeah.
Yeah, and so this actually can really streamline things for our city staff. We have been really trying to get away from the Go Yachats platform that was made for the city, but it's very antiquated and doesn't fully meet our needs. And we've been limping along with that. In the meantime, we've been trying to basically build another collection system with our Civic Plus company, which is not been going well. We've been working on that for over a year. And so today when we met with this company, we did hear all of the things that they can do. They can collect taxes. We could do our food and beverage tax and our transient lodging tax, our business licenses, our vacation rental licenses. They can pay online, and we can track everything. They can also evaluate and audit who's marketing their STRs online that aren't licensed as well. So it's a package that could just really make things nice for us. So I don't know how much it costs yet.
Or if it really works.
Does it cover the kind of thing that Craig was mentioning last month?
It does.
It does.
Mhm.
That stuff is getting much more sophisticated than he's talked about in 2018 or something.
So our city staff would still be customer service. We would still have a heavy hand in it. We would, be the point of contact, but we would be able to use this system to really track all the pieces.
It sounds like it has a lot of pieces that I think the firm I talked to pretty much did.
Just the tracking or like the scrubbing of the.
Yeah.
Any comments or questions? And we've been here for a very long time. I don't want to.
I think we've made good progress on this. I think we move forward.
Yeah.
If there's no questions, had a good discussion. We did well and anything that we can finish up with these goals in the next month would be great. So we could start with rolling them off of the report for next year. Okay, CIP spending report. Do we need to spend some time on that?
Neil is here to highlight those things. I think again, we can go off questions that you have. You all have the document, have been able to look for, through it. He can hit some highlights of where we're at, and
It's been here for quite a while today already, so I'll try to keep it brief.
Thank you.
So on the general fund, we've spent 90,000 out of our 165,000 in the budget for the year. Spending on the streets project on Second Street. Storm drainage, you haven't spent anything yet, but going to be spending. Maybe kind of our new Second Street project. Then street CIP. City services. Spending on there, the trolley purchase was a big one, that's complete. Anticipating getting some more grant revenue for that. 13,000 for the radar speed trailer will be going out soon since it's arrived in the county. And we've spent 133,000 out of 166,000. Parks and trails. We all know that we got that grant, so we're anticipating getting $732,000. And spending will be ramping up on that very soon. On the commons, we've spent 50,000 out of 325,000. Some highlights there that I guess that we haven't mentioned yet is that we did get a refund on what we spent towards the pavilion with the contractor that previously selected. That's why there's a negative amount in there. We wanted everybody to be on an even playing field when we do the invitation to bid here in a few months. Our architect is working on getting all the documents prepared to do the full invitation to bid. We basically have to have all the details ironed out before we put it up. So that's in progress.
You know what the estimated costs are for the architecture?
I want to say $6,000 to $8,000. Right. Which isn't terrible considering how much we've already spent on. But a little bit more to get us across the finish line there. And then our goal with that is that we'll spend, 160,000 in this fiscal year, and then whatever remainder there is will spill into the following fiscal year. So we'll know what that total number will be after the bids roll in, which I think we're going to put it out in February and should have an answer in March, which will give people about a month for that. Going down to the library, yeah, so far we've spent 732,000 out of our little over $1 million that we budgeted for the year. General contractor is just about done. I think Jeremy, their superintendent's gonna head out just before Thanksgiving. Basically just down to doing touch-up paint and just a little bit of paint work. And I think the hinges on the folding door for the conference room, that gave us those hinges. It's really minor stuff at this point. We did an inspection with the architect yesterday. And we're considering it substantially complete at this point. It's not the final inspection. The county's gonna do their final inspection tomorrow. And then we're basically moving into all the small things that weren't part of the general contractor's contract. We've got Pioneer coming in to do internet modem, and then we have NBS coming in, put in some network hardware, we've got Ethernet cables being ran, bookcases and furniture. The only real delay that we've had is one of the bookcases. There's a delay at the factory and it probably won't show up until the end of January. So we're probably looking at early February for an opening. So,
Can we do an opening -1? Is it just one bookcase?
well, it's the interior bookcase, it's all the metal.
All of
ones.
them.
So we'll have the perimeter wooden ones done likely within the next month or so. But those interior metal ones, those are delayed at the factory, so. I've been talking with Tracy, the librarian, and we're thinking about maybe doing a gradual move over there, like maybe get some of their stuff out of the commons before the Agate Festival and then.
Nice to get it out of storage.
Yeah.
Writing monthly bills for storage for.
Speaking of storage at Little Rock Church Museum, we haven't shown a whole lot of CIP spending on there yet, but we just recently got the payment request figured out. I had to kind of work them on it to get payment request, but what we see, and I want to say it's around $80,000 in spending on that. And that's it for general funds. So total where we're at, we spent just over $1 million out of our 2.4 million for CIP general fund.
If I could make a suggestion, it's not, if you can't do it, you can't do it, it's fine. But in some cases, it came up in finance committee, I think, where somebody said, what, it's only costing us X amount, and I think I was the one that asked it. The check had been written the year before, so it might be useful to say of this previous payments on this, so that we can see, gosh, we thought this was going to cost us $750,000, and it's only showing a $20,000 output this year, but we'd already written checks for. If you could add a column like that easily, and I'll emphasize easily, that would be helpful.
And another point that Neil is working on for the evolution of this tracking sheet also is to track what we know we've committed to spend as well, not just what's cleared and gone through all of our systems. So what's here, that's like what's cleared, that's been paid, that's gone through all of our system, it's tracked. And but we do always have promise, out there of spending money too. So he's going to be tracking that as well, so we can kind of see a fuller picture of where we're at.
We've come a long way. And that reminds me, I forgot to mention this in the review of the financial information, and I wish more people were here to hear this, but I was really impressed that we were looking at October numbers in November. It has been many years that we've been looking at getting financial reports that are at least 2 months old. So instead of looking at October numbers here in November, we'd be looking at August numbers. To be that current in what we're getting is a huge improvement. I don't know if you can sustain it, but it was a huge improvement, and I really appreciate the staff effort to get that, give us current financial information. It's just so much better, and I really appreciate it.
I would agree with you. Our team is really done an excellent job, and they stay very on top of all of their projects and their work that they're doing. And I think that it's critical for us to be able to try. We're working with very large numbers and very large projects on the daily basis, and to really see the financial stability of the city, we have to be able to be as current as possible. It's not really very helpful for all of you to be reviewing 2 months old to really see what, so I'm really proud of the work that the staff is doing too.
Thank you to all of them. Appreciate it.
All right, Neil, got Public Works.
Yeah, so, public work spending, one of the key highlights of the East Second Street Phase 3, showed currently spent 186 out of our 284,000 budget for that. We're anticipating a final invoice from Lasky Clifton any day. We've already received their certified payroll reports, but should be seeing a big bill from them very soon. Other key highlights, that's with the feasibility study for the water tank. Work continues on that. We just got another big bill for the geotech study that was done up there. And we're going to continue to apply for progress payments on our grant funding for that. We'd only spent 25,000 out of our 30,000 for the hydrant replacements, but Dave's got a minute to spend the last 5,000 of that, so bills should be coming in for that's one more fire hydrant for us. Water meter upgrades, we're anticipating spending another 17,000, where we haven't spent anything quite yet. As of the time of the report. But yeah, overall for water, we've spent only 346,000 out of our 1.9 million, so we've got quite a bit of money to spend. 750,000 for the property acquisition may or may not be necessary, so.
So my understanding is the Reedy Creek water pipeline is delayed for probably another year.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a more expensive one, and I think some engineering work has been done, but we were thinking we're gonna see how the financing, how the revenue's coming in, and if there's anything we can wait on, that's probably one of those. As far as wastewater goes, the main lift station improvements are continuing. That's kind of our big ticket item there, and along with the East Second Street Phase 3 spending for that as well. That slide gate's done over there. So it's looking good. We spent 93,000 out of our 594,000. But more spending coming soon.
And I'm really happy that the slide gate is in. I know it's probably my obsession, but it used to be so easy to just walk into that wastewater plant from multiple directions, and people walking in and to storage areas of hand equipment. Glad that building is secure now. I love that they have the dummy in the window. Every time I walk by, I'm like, who's still working?
It's me.
That's me too.
All right. Well, this looks great. We're on track. It's only halfway through the fiscal year, but it's looking good. And I appreciate the thought of, depending on how income comes in, that we'll be able to delay some projects. Okay, where are we at? Almost end is in sight.
End is in sight.
I think, I've shuffled all my papers so much I can't. City manager review, we need to do that. Your anniversary is December 2nd, I believe. So December 1st. So next month we need to do that. That can be that's a work session or a special session, sorry, that we will need to schedule in order to do that. And I was going to ask, and Councilor Carey, if you would be willing to repeat your survey.
Yeah, I was really trying, I was trying to take the questions and then delete everything in between, but this is how it printed out. Wait, thank you guys. But to see if there were any, and maybe I can retype it or something, but if I gave you a list of like, I don't know if we have time for this, of what our questions had been, do you feel like there needs to be some questions that we didn't include? And or are there modifications to some of these questions? I'm not sure we have that time because this probably should go out like pretty pronto.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't remember how long we had it open last year, Neil. The city manager evaluation 360 things. I have no idea how long we had it open. Maybe it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I'm gonna say a month, but yeah, somewhere around there, pretty cool.
So if we need it done by the beginning of December,
Well, the December meeting, let's say.
December meeting.
which is the
We can backdate the check.
December 17th is our regularly scheduled city council meeting, and I think it works well for everybody to do the executive session before the regular session.
I'm just gonna bring that up as that what people like, I don't know. I think they're two separate, but
I mean, it's up to you all. I don't, that's just been the rhythm we've been on. So, I mean, I think if,
one day.
It does, but it's better than 2 meetings a month.
I prefer the one long
City
meeting,
was long.
helps scheduling stuff.
scheduling.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another issue, but
So could you take a look at it and see what you would recommend? I think you're very close.
well, that's what I was doing and. But I also wanna give you guys the
Yeah, no, I appreciate
opportunity, but yeah, I can do that as beginning and then.
If we need,
You an email about the fact that I think we should just do it the way it is, or I know that there's one piece in terms of the answers, I would like to change one word in how we did it. Cause I was reading, I was like, well, that doesn't sound the best, but
we had a lot of, yeah. We can have a work session if we need to, for a couple hours, if you can give us a good draft of what you change. I think there are a lot of questions that people kind of answered, well, I don't interact with the city manager and I can't answer that.
right, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see anything glaringly
Okay.
wrong
Yeah.
with what we did last year.
Right, so let's see what you can get forward and we can see if we can schedule a work session.
We don't need that, it's just a matter of if people would glance, if I can send out the questions, if people could glance over them.
Yeah, the open meetings is the question on that.
I would say,
We have to send it.
there could be 3 of you that could get together and look at it, and 2 of you trust the other 3 to
Yeah.
come up with a good.
Yeah, but could you be helpful on that?
I can.
Okay, like you get involved.
Because 3 is quorum.
Oh, yeah, 2, sorry.
Yeah, so maybe you and Nicole can work on that.
Yeah.
Hey, all
And get
right,
her involved. And the other issue we ran into, if I remember right, is we randomly generated 100 citizens and then kind of scrubbed it a little bit to make, like that guy's dead, that person's dead. To clean it up, but I think we ended up short, so I think we might want to send it out to 150 this year.
so that's part of the process, because we had to obtain those,
Yeah, the voters.
right, so who does that go to, Neil?
Yeah, Kim here, Neil can get it.
And then you just,
Start on that was great.
I think you just use an Excel randomized feature and we take 1 through 150 or whatever.
Numbers and.
Yeah. Because we don't need to survey everybody.
Right, but that would be good.
Yeah, okay, if you
We could do
two,
that, and then if we could do that our next week or so.
That would be fine.
okay,
And then we just,
We can put it into the Survey Monkey, the questions that you come up
well,
with.
if they're already there, could they be transferred and just corrected or modified? Yeah. Save you guys time.
Yep, if there's just simple edits to make, we could just make a copy of the ones from last year and make edits.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
we have a plan. Sounds good. And like I say, if this, we will backdate her check. Go have a
Okay,
party.
so how about we make a goal of like the 10th of December or something to send it out?
It would only be, it'll be a week.
Hmm?
That'd be a week before the meeting, or before
No, because we meet
the 17th.
December 17th. Oh, I'm sorry, I said the wrong month, didn't I? Okay. Well, how about if we try December 1st through the 16th?
Right.
Mhm. For 2 weeks.
All right. Good news is it all. We don't, nobody needs a data crunch it. Sit at their desk, it's all done.
Right, right.
All right, that sounds like a great plan and I appreciate you two taking it on. Other business, I just wanted to say we had 2 executive sessions. The first, I'm getting. The first one, we, should get it in the right order. First one, we, requested our city manager, work with the attorney to make some changes and further engage in contract discussions, regarding, our contract with View the Future. That's kind of all we can disclose at this point. But we had some concerns with that contract and that's, we expressed those to the city manager who worked with the attorney. And the other, which was the extension of get the correct word here, the extension of our agreement with Elk Mountain that we were in alignment that we will ask for
Investigation period.
yeah, yes, thank you. We'll ask to extend the investigation period with Elk Mountain and we'll see where that goes, but Elk Mountain seems amenable to that plan. That gives us an opportunity to explore our current site on the city property for our water tank and see where we're at with after that geological work is done. Okay, I have nothing else. Council members, anything you'd like to talk about? Yes.
So I was able to go to the Newport City Council emergency meeting last month about the Coast Guard helicopter being removed and a possible ice detention facility being built in its place. And so I would like to propose that we can offer our support to the Newport City Council and city managers in whatever they need to help them in this situation, since we are part of the greater community with them. And so I don't know how exactly that would look, or if anyone had any ideas.
I was gonna bring that up too, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought about it.
Something like a resolution or a proclamation possibly that show our support.
I think that would be good because they'd be public.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Benefit in asking them what they would like.
I believe there is.
Mhm. So I had known that Counselor Headland had gone to this and did reach out to their city manager to ask if there was anything that I could bring back to you guys when this was brought up. And at first, I think that the proclamation would be a very good public stance on where we are and that we're in unity with them. I think that'd be greatly appreciated by them as well. But from their city manager, what they're putting out to all community members and cities that wish to support them and the mission to rescue the helicopter and oppose the ICE facility they're encouraged to contact local, state, and federal legislators, and she's provided a list of contacts for Senate and House committees related to the issues. And but they're really encouraging anybody who is offering support to do is make contacts with these committees and representatives. So I will share that with all of you. So you can each individually write something, and then if you'd like, we could write something on behalf of the council and the city as a whole.
It might,
Copy them on the resolution.
I think it'd be a good idea. I mean, I just need to say that, it also puts a target on your back. Given the meanness of what we're seeing, but I think it's also time to stand up. I just want to be clear.
There's enough characters.
Yeah.
Live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I frankly think it'd be more impactful if it came from the city council.
To what?
If it came from the city council. I've said before, I've written letters as the mayor. When I first came into office, I asked the mayor, the attorney about that, and I can say as mayor of, which does not obligate the city council. But I think in this case, it would be more impactful to say the city council, city of Yachats. So we could each draft something and see if we can come up with some good language.
Okay.
But thank you.
So for the December meeting, we should prepare a
Yeah.
proclamation.
Yeah. Does any of your staff feel like they would want to take on kind of consolidating the,
And get something.
I'm sure other cities are starting to do that too.
yeah, good news or bad news, we don't know.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, it's like with the helicopter, something needs to happen quicker because of crabbing season and.
Well, I mean,
Fine,
very much
bye-bye.
pressure being put on, and I learned years ago, don't get the fisherman's wife tipped off. So, I mean, seriously, they're on this. I mean, when they did it the last time, I was like, holy God. It's amazing. Not that we don't need to do something. Yeah, I mean, they were amazing. I'm sure they're a lot, but I think a proclamation and just letting them know, but I did see a helicopter, a Coast Guard helicopter go at 8:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Yeah, because they're going all the way up to North Tillamook or South Tillamook, so they're,
well, they've always done that every morning, but it's at 11 o'clock.
yeah.
So that it was at 8:30, I thought, oh, look, it's bad.
Or somebody's in trouble.
It was a change in time.
It stopped, it's on circle, right over the
Oh,
the mouth of the, roughly part of the mouth of the river, but just, one little circle kept it going.
that's interesting.
And I always said, did you see something interesting? And one of the-
Another whale.
Sightseeing.
Okay. Anything else from the council? City staff?
No, I did just get an email while we were in this meeting today that I thought was really nice. A person just, this isn't the first one. I've got a few of these that some individuals emailing sincere thanks for the trolley, and people very, very excited about it and very on board and supported, excited to ride it and excited to ride it down one way and hike back. And so while there has been a couple naysayers out there online, there's been far more positive responses, which I think is really great.
And for people that have concerns, it's like, how do you know that it's going to fail? I mean, I don't know it's going to be wildly successful, but I'm not saying, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread and there's no way it could ever fail. But people that are negative Nellies are really strongly opposed and don't see any path for success.
I'm sure they're the ones.
I have a real hard time with it.
Everything names are familiar. Sure.
All right,
That's tomorrow from
Four
to 6.
4 to 6.
Where's Anna?
Ona's for the chamber
I'll go for 10
chamber
minutes.
mixer. Yep.
Here I am.
All right.
I'm meeting.
And if you haven't paid your dues, I don't know. All right, anything else? If not, I am going to Gene, it's a long day.
One day, one meeting.
Adjourn the City of Yachats City Council meeting of November 19th, 2025.